What's going on, gamers? So, it gets interesting this week. A lot of PlayStation news recently coming out. I guess Sony wanted to have a flood of news. So, how Microsoft recently revealed the ROG Xbox Ally PC handheld, and then they revealed that they're doing like a Series S collaboration with Asus and a X, because it's kind of like a lighter model and a heavier model. But I think they're going to be expensive. Supposedly some prices came out, but I'm gonna do a video separate on that to talk about that. So. Yeah, we'll get into that. But in this video, it says the yet to be announced PlayStation handheld will feature AI upscaling, and some of its specs will address the lower memory bandwidth compared to the base PlayStation 5. And don't expect this thing probably till closer to the PS6 launch. Oh yeah, you didn't. Sony's around the corner too. Yeah, it's going to get interesting again. Like I said, the handheld market is very, very, very tough, and we see people coming in there, but they're trying to dominate in there. It's harder than the console market. So they're going to have something like PISR or PSSR, excuse my language. All right, let's see. Like, comment, subscribe. We ready? Let's get into this. PlayStation handheld to feature AI upscaling, 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM, and 16 megabyte MAL to offset lower memory bandwidth compared to the base PlayStation 5. That's interesting. So they're going to go for that 16 for the handheld. They're not going to do anything less than that, and they want this thing to be performing around closer to the PS5 levels. That would be pretty impressive for a handheld. I don't see this thing being any less than $600 either, by the way, just to let y'all know. Definitely with like tariffs and all that stuff, you just don't know. We got to see what the hell else is going on after the pause and stuff too. Well-known AMD leaker Kepler-2L2 revealed that the AMD APU that will power the system, so it's going to be an APU chip, will be the only one from the company to have AI upscaling in the near future. Interesting. So we're going to read some comments here, then we're going to go through a thread and read more details on there. Huh. Things are getting spicy. Ponies, sit down. PlayStation gamers, let's continue. PSSR is going to be a dream for this thing. Well, first show that it's a dream for PS5 Pro. But yeah, I think they're working with AMD not only for this, but for their handheld, for PS6, for a lot of things, y'all. I think we're going to be seeing that Amethyst stuff be around everything. So expect to see that. And this is going to be something Sony wants for their ecosystem. It's not going to be where you put Game Pass on or anything. Trust me, I know Sony. It's going to be a PlayStation handheld official. It won't be a PC, but will be a portable PlayStation 4 Pro, maybe even PS5 first year. Yes. It's going to have Game Pass on it, moron. It's not a PC handheld. It's going to be a PlayStation handheld. That's different. Now, if it was a PlayStation third party, well, Sony would just block it because it's their device. That's just how they are. So, yeah, they're allowed to do that. You can block the hardware ID. But no, it's a PlayStation handheld. It's going to sync with PS4, PS5, and PS6 or something like that. I know Sony, trust me. So it's a console. I guess this will be on third-party shoulders to support it like the Vita. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to try to sync the community together with that. And that's going to be an extension device of that, but more of a handheld now than like a portal. It's better to play on the previous PlayStation titles, or it's not a real PlayStation, because Sony has brand appeal. They could sell like 20 or 30 million of this, you know what I mean? Not anything crazy, but that's still crazy today. But just because in a console sense, they'll sell that. See, hardware, it's the same thing. Their base will do that. But you ain't taking much from Nintendo. They're just going to dominate the whole handheld market. So that's my thing with this, like just reading on some of this, and we're going to get to the thread, don't worry. But I just want to see what some of these comments have to say. And will only play PlayStation games. Uh-oh. Let's see, guys. I can't even play PlayStation games on PlayStation 5, dude. Yeah, they keep getting canceled. Fuck that. You mean like PlayStation consoles that only play PlayStation games? No shit, Sherlock. So the next PlayStation will hold PlayStation 5 back? That's what the donkeys used to say about Xbox Series S. Exactly. Okay, so that's kind of what that is. All right, now going over to the thread, rumored PlayStation handheld may share a key PS5 Pro feature. This is said again over on Tom's page. The next PlayStation Portable could come with AI upscaling. And we see Horizon right here with this right here. Rumor has it Sony is working on a new PlayStation handheld, and a recent leak indicates it could borrow a key feature straight from the PlayStation 5 Pro. Since it's newer AMD technology, that would probably make sense. They're going to choose something that could do that. Known leaker Kepler-L2 revealed interesting details about the allegedly upcoming PlayStation handheld. We were saying 16 gigabytes of RAM, a third of the base PlayStation 5's memory bandwidth, but 16 megabytes of mall cache and will be powered by an AMD chip. So we know this now. Interestingly, the insider also claims that AI upscaling tech, which points to the PlayStation 5 Pro, this improves image quality in supported games, offering sharper and more detailed images similar to NVIDIA's DLSS. AMD FSR4 could be coming to gaming handhelds. Why that's potentially a big deal, you may like. See, this is another thread entirely separate. So it's funny how that pops up back in April, but we see this happening right here with AI-focused AMD chips for handhelds. So this is what's going on, guys. This kind of syncs together. I kind of just ran into this live right here. AMD is reportedly working on AI-focused APUs. The company's FSR upscaling technology could be used in best handhelds gaming consoles. Currently, the latest generation of AMD APU consists of Ryzen Z2, Z2 Go, and Z2 Stream chips, and people use this, so why would they not have it for their handhelds now? And who works with AMD? Sony and Microsoft. You kind of get what I'm saying? So this is actually very believable, y'all. Separate article, but this was back in April. Here we are over on June, and then we see PlayStation talking about this, and it's going to be an AMD chip. I think it just all aligned for me right out in front of us, y'all, right here live. Crazy. Interestingly, the insider also claims it will feature AI upscaling tech, which kind of aligns with that article, which points to everything I was just talking about. So, moreover, since the base PlayStation 5 comes with 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, by the way, this is going to be using DDR5. The alleged PlayStation handheld is looking to be a powerful system, but unlike the other PC gaming consoles with the same specs, such as the Lenovo Legion and the Asus ROG Ally and all that too, they're doing 32 gigabytes of RAM. Reports of Sony's developing a next-gen handheld console have been swirling since last year, suggesting it will be able to play PlayStation 5 games natively. That would be really good, because there's a lot of cross-gen that's going to be going on. And PS4 games. But PSSR now tipped to be coming along with the 16 gigabytes of DDR RAM and it being better, it'll function better. The next PlayStation handheld can pull this off. At a lower resolution, of course. Yeah, but if it's on that screen and you get it running right, it doesn't matter. It's all about having a balance of battery as well. Technically, the PlayStation Portal can run PS5 titles, but that's through cloud-based gaming. And we found in our testing, you'll need a strong internet connection to have gameplay run smoothly. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. There's no official word from Sony about an upcoming handheld, and reports on expected release dates are scattered, some suggesting it could come as soon as 2027, or believe it will enter mass production in 2028. More handheld competition, as we see. That's what this is going to do for the market. The Nintendo Switch 2 has recently launched, which is the fastest selling console of all time. Once again, congratulations to Nintendo. Broke the record in the United States, broke the record in Japan, broke the record in France, in Spain, and a lot of regions that I've been telling people, of course, like I said, because it's needed. The console market was stagnant. Now Japan's going to be fully empowered. Third-party developers are going to be fully empowered. This is great. Gaming is growing in general. Anybody should want that. So, yeah, and there's just more handheld and console communities growing. This is just good. I'm loving it. More first-party games, more creativity for the industry, more publishing, growth for a lot of other companies in general. But, yeah, so right here we see, since the Switch took off, here comes the Steam Deck, here comes the ROG Ally, here comes the Xbox handheld, here comes the PlayStation handheld. Once again, even though Sony had left that, but they're back again with the Portal and all that first. They're following them again. See how that works? Yeah, they're playing follow the leader because it's successful, but they couldn't do that themselves. So yeah, but if people enjoy it and they have a good time, I'm not for that. I'm just kind of like pointing that out and making it clear who's best for leading for gaming. But if y'all are interested in this, let me know. If you think this is going to be some little handheld war, yeah, sure, in a certain sense, but we all know who's going to win the handheld war. But then again, it gets pretty interesting. So let me know what y'all think about this, all right? Y'all have a great day. Peace out. Later. Ponies, y'all still sit down.